Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I publish on Rumble, also publish on Rumble. Today, let's see if I can get around the next episode of XCOM 2 also. And afterwards, I will try to intercalate between XCOM and Prey. We'll see how it goes, but today I think I can manage the episode 18, which will introduce a new character in terms of the character pool submissions, so keep your eyes on it. Also, I publish everything from YouTube on the blogger post and also on Patreon for extra support. Again, in Rumble, I almost forgot, been doing the re-upload of the Evil Within 2 gameplay series because the syncing issues, they upload some episodes and some of them didn't upload there, so I erased everything from the Evil Within 2 and I've been publishing one episode per day, and afterwards it will be Void Bastards. And yeah, and at the moment I've got this again, these two active gameplay series here. So let's get to the news. Not much happening, but some interesting things here. Some more partners regarding what the upcoming supposedly super series or super variants from the NVIDIA. They are expected to clear the remaining inventory. So the aimed ones are the 4080s and 4070 Ti's, because those the supers are basically going to fill the gap in terms of certain degree, in terms of the performance wise. They are the most closer here. I assume they want to just they want to clear the inventory, because if things are as some rumors that I saw, again, I think I covered this one. I think they want to replace in terms of price the 4080 by the 4080 Super, I think, which is around, well, $1,100, the current pricing. I think they wanted to replace that and then lower a little bit the remaining stock of the 4080, I suppose, so they can completely clear out the inventory until it's finished. And the 4070 Ti, I think they will try to do kind of the same thing there, but yeah. They are not being served, the AIB's partners, in terms of chips of the current ones, the 4080 and the 4070 Ti SKUs, because again, I think that they're just waiting to trying to get rid of this remaining stock, so the super series will come. So, which to a certain degree, this information to a certain degree validates the rumors that they want to introduce the super series like as early as, I don't know, between January and February. I don't know if CES, because I think there is something that NVIDIA, like a keynote or something like that, I don't know if they want to announce there, and then start pumping up on the market between February, March, give or take, because usually it's the first trimester of the year. I think it's in terms of fiscal years, I think it's like the last one, so I suppose they want to close a good quarter in terms of the fiscal year there. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of movement happening in the background, and there is some kind of, not quotes, but at least some mentions that in terms of the 4080 series, they didn't allocate sufficient quantity of GPUs in this fourth quarter. Again, this fourth quarter, I assume it's the normal year of fourth quarter, so between October, November, and December. And of course, the inventory levels are very low. Basically the same thing happened in the 4070 Ti series. Again, in terms of offerings at this moment in time, I think you are better served with the XTX or the 79 or a XT from AMD. Because the performance are quite similar. Again, unless you just want ray tracing, gaming on ray tracing, but again, not all games will support ray tracing, so it's that's why I'm more of a rasterized person here. for my needs, or at least for my aims, which is playing 4K 60 frames per second. For me it's good enough, or it's kind of my benchmark, achieving that 4K 60 FPS. That's one of the reasons that I bought the 7900 XTX. And the fact that it has more VRAM and it has good memory bus there also, because of the fact that it has more VRAM in itself. I've been served completely well, didn't have any issues, especially in terms of driver stuff and the software that they have. It works completely fine. Again, in some games here and there I might have like one crash after I don't know how many hours, because usually I play a little bit but I leave the game running on the background. Sometimes it crashes, of course, if you live like 8 hours in a row while I do other things. It sometimes happens. But yeah, regarding software, very balanced. You can do basically anything that you want, even screen recordings and all that jazz through the software. So I think it's pretty worthwhile, and they of course are cheaper, way cheaper. At the moment I think the 4080 in average, at least in US market, goes around $1,100, while the 7900 XTX goes between less $300, and sometimes depending on the deal it can go as low as $800 or lower. I think we saw like around 750 with a lot of huge discounts there. I'm not sure, and the XT is a little bit lower than that. But yeah, and the fact that the Super will not increase memory by any means, and it's not going to improve in terms of VRAM memory, so, given in quantity and also in memory bus width. So yeah, I'm not sure. It might get a little bit tweaked here and there, like within margin of error, like I assume 5, maximum in some good cases 10%, between the 4080 and the 4070 Ti. I think the Supers might get that a little bit extra performance there, but I don't foresee like huge swings in terms of uplift in terms of performance. But yeah, it is what it is. I'll keep my eyes on it, try to see if there's something worthwhile to bring to you. And in terms of hardware, this is it. I watched this one in terms of gaming. Forza Motorsport, seems that WCCF Tech has managed to finish their review in progress, and they reached kind of a final verdict here. It's a game that I always interest in, this kind of games, Forza, and especially Gran Turismo, which is from the PS era. I remember playing the first Gran Turismo on PS1, and on PS2 I played one game. I don't know if it was Gran Turismo 3 or something like that. I remember playing also when I had a PlayStation 2. I remember playing a lot of that game. But yeah, I like this kind of games a little bit, trying to blur the lines between simulation and arcadey kind of style there. But yeah, it seems that in their review, again, outstanding visuals, never doubt that, with immaculate attention to detail of the cars, strong car customization and upgrades, work through with RPG light progression system. I think they did a little bit of the complaint there regarding the car XP per se, or the leveling up, is even if you buy the same model, a second car from the same model, you have to upgrade the in terms of XP or whatever it's attached to the car, which can be a little bit boring there. But I don't know if with with following updates they will like tweak that out. I don't know. And supposedly excellent on-track racing. The cons, it's again very limited number of tracks, which becomes noticeably quickly the lack of those tracks, and I think also in terms of cars, at least in quantity, I think they have the same car with several variations, which for me really doesn't count as a different car. But yeah, and the game is very poor at managing consequences for actions. I don't know if it is regarding driving and the penalties that you have when you are racing. I think the AI there can be a little bit better, from what I understood from some of the reviews that I saw throughout the searching for something for this game. But yeah, overall it's a decent game. I'm not sure if it compensates buying it now, because the content is a little bit limited. But yeah, for if you have a Xbox console, I think if you can, you're and if you have Forza Horizon, I think you are well served there. I think it might. It's better to wait a little bit more, a few months, for more until Forza Motorsport has a decent amount of content there. At least that's my perception. We got kind of more trying to clarificate the situation regarding Wonder Woman, because of the Zaslav guy, CEO of Warner Brothers, the recent one, did that. They basically going to pick up every IP and basically do games as a service in all of their games, invest, like, double down on that. But supposedly they are again, it's corporate talk. It doesn't mean anything to a certain degree. Basically, they're saying that Wonder Woman is a single-player game not designed for live service, which doesn't mean that it doesn't have microtransactions. The studio that is developing this, Monolith. I always forget the Monolith. The same ones, the Shadow, the Lord of the Ring games, the Shadow of War and Middle of Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Yeah, Monolith Productions. Yeah, in Shadow of War there was a lot of backlash because they introduced a lot of microtransactions. I assume at the time, at the demand of Warner Brothers, because the Middle Earth movies and this adaptation, I still think they were done in terms of in terms of launching was on WB, Warner Brothers, and I think they demanded at the time to put some microtransactions, which doesn't mean that the fact they are very well known for good single player games, especially with that Nemesis system, which for sure it's being updated between each game. Yeah, it doesn't mean that the fact that the game was not designed for live service doesn't mean it's not going to have live service like style kind of things there, which is basically microtransactions, because supposedly this is going to be an open world, supposedly kind of RPG in a way. Yeah, does it mean that it's not going to have a lot of microtransactions, which will have for sure, because the way that they just doubling down, the fact that again the recent videos, the Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, they tried to deviate, the first video tried to deviate attention of the game as a service basically, and they try to focus a lot on the story, which I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, the subsequent games that will follow up after Wonder Woman game, which supposedly should be announced soon, given that it's supposedly, according to rumors, being in development for a few years now, 5 or 6 years almost. Yeah, and the fact that the Rocksteady game, which is they did the Batman trilogy, which is one of the best trilogies in terms of gaming. They just put these guys in charge of games as a service, so multiplayer, MMOs, whatever you want to call it, games there, which is not their part of the pedigree. It's going to backfire, especially this one, the Suicide Squad, and this is not going to for sure is not going to end very well, the Wonder Woman game, if they are basically designed the game at the time, starting designing as a single player, and then they just made them put a lot of microtransactions slotted in the game. This is not going to work very well in terms of how it feels the game, for sure. Even though a Wonder Woman game will be very interesting, especially if it is single player, kind of interesting in this kind of games. If it tells try to tell a good story, I think it's always worth it. And yeah, basically this is it from this one. And we're going to finalize here with Nier. Supposedly Yoko Taro, which is the Nier franchise kind of creator there, because I saw this one, I think I saw this video at the time. They at the time they say that Nier is finished in the sense that he told the story that he wanted to told. But supposedly now Nier will continue as long as Yoko Taro is alive. Yeah, I don't know. This can mean a lot of stuff there. Even though Nier Automata, which is basically the mainline game in terms of the series, sold 7.5 million copies, which is pretty good for what it is on this series. They didn't expect to sell this well. And the fact that they recently, like within the last year or so, they did the remaster of the previous game, which is Nier Replicant. Yeah, in 2021. Sorry, it's been more than a year. Yeah, it's one of those two games that I will really want to try out. There is also like a mobile game, something that it doesn't involve the main characters from the main games here. And I think there is anime trying to telling the story of Nier Automata, but with some differences here. But it seems that Yoko Taro is still open to do more stuff because of there was this kind of, I don't know what it is, this not festival, this event, let's say, and yeah, they were talking about a lot of Nier Automata. I don't know if he gave him more ideas or kind of a will to proceed with that. But yeah, this Nier, at least these two games, the Replicant and Automata, is one of those that I want to play one of these days. It seems pretty interesting. The themes they are trying to approach there. But yeah, we'll hope that we have something soon. Even though Automata, it's been over for a few years now. I hope he will come up with something new. But I think he was busy with some card games or something like that, like some kind of weird game like that, Yoko Taro. So yeah, I'm not sure if there is going to be when it comes this Nier mainline kind of a series game. But yeah, hopefully soon enough, and it will be at least at the same level at Automata. But yeah, this is what I have for today. I'm just going to wrap up with some gaming deals. We still have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice around, I don't know, I suppose when this video is up, like 7 hours or so, so half a day almost, to get around this, or by the end of the day at least in my time zone. We still have Lies of Pi, at least a day at the publish of this video. Sorry. It's 20% off. Again, I think it's a pretty good deal, and I think the new update is up now. It's live, which is the one that I've been talking about. Blasphemous, again, around 1 day or so, 75% off, and you got a demo to try it out before you buy. Wallworld, 23% off, again around 1 day or so, 24 hours on the publish date of this video. And finally we got Prey, which is one of the games again that I started the video that I started the video talking about, that it's an active gameplay series there. 90% off on the base game or 80% on the digital deluxe. I'm a little bit biased because I managed to claim the digital deluxe edition in Epic Game Store like basically almost a year ago. It's the reviews for the DLCs are pretty good, so it's one of those that I really put people on buying the digital deluxe edition. But yeah, the base game, it brings everything, so you don't need to buy like extra little things. This is like different modes from what I understand, so it's not part of the mainline game kind of a thing there. And yeah, basically this is it for today, guys. I'm just going to wrap up with the plug on my Patreon for access support. That access support is going to be mainly for me to have the ability to have backups of the projects that I do for my private clients, and of course extra storage space for the videos that I do for the channel. And yeah, basically this is it. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, Kunamy Master out.